Hi there, I just recently played through Pyre, the new game from Supergiant Games, and I just wanted to share some thoughts on it. I've played and enjoyed Supergiant Games' first two titles before the release of Pyre. I thought Transistor was fantastic. Bastion fell behind a bit, but was still great. This gave me some pretty high expectations for their upcoming title. Supergiant Games has a way of creating their own little worlds that are unlike our own to immerse you into. In Pyre, we begin in the downside, a sort of forbidden land you get exiled to after committing crimes, such as the crime of literacy. Nice. These kinds of things intrigue me in the sense that I want to know more about these worlds and how they work. Usually the way things work in these worlds translates to how you would actually play the game. In the world of Pyre, we often partake in the rites, a set of games to determine who may possibly be set free from the downside and back into civilization. This, I'd say, is not quite the main game mechanic of Pyre. That I'll get into in a little bit. But it is pretty important and quite fun too. It's a bit like playing football or maybe basketball. To sum up the game, an orb spawns in the middle of the field, you can move one character at a time, and you gotta grab the orb and get it to the other team's Pyre at the other side by throwing it in, or simply just leaping in. The rites are very recurring in this game, which may sound repetitive, but I think the characters of this game, or your party members you can choose from to play in these rites, really spice it up quite a bit. You have a wide array of characters to choose from and play with, all catering to different play styles. Some are really fast, but not always the most effective, while others can be slower and great for defensive purposes. Everyone has their own abilities that makes them unique too. For example, one of my favorite characters to have on my team was a little slow, but could fly, so she was great at dodging enemies. There may be some bits here and there where you can be limited to who you can choose to be on your team, which can make things a bit challenging if you get too attached to your favorite three. Speaking of characters, they're definitely enjoyable. While you're not doing the rites, you'll be traveling a lot with your team, including one of the best characters in the game. In these bits, the game almost plays like a visual novel, which makes the part of the characters being enjoyable very important. The game does a great job of making you care about characters you may not have thought you would, in your team at least. The game goes quite in depth with your opponents throughout the game too, but it's more of a, hey, remember these guys you played well against in that one game of rights a while back? Well, here's a little bit of their backstory. Sometimes those in your group may interact with them a bit, which can be great to see, but I kind of wish that the player character could have had a bit more interaction with them, since they seem to have a bit more going on than just your ordinary villains. While on the topic of story, I think Pyre's is very interesting. What is more interesting is that it plays as a sort of choose-your-own-adventure game. I wouldn't go so far to say it's Telltale style or anything like that, but your actions do have consequences here. I don't want to go too in-depth with it, I want to stay far away from spoiler territory, but I just have to mention that the details there are incredible. A lot of other games in this fashion made me feel like a lot of my choices or actions didn't do anything at all, but you'll definitely see something here. And prepare yourself for some real feelings at the end. Even the ending song is tailored to what you've done throughout your playthrough. It's crazy. These sort of details really help put together your own unique experience, which can really only be done with the video game medium. It's great, it really is, but I personally think that even masterpieces can't be perfect. So let me just throw out some negative points here. The game does get a bit repetitive near the end, not so much having to do a game of rights every so often, but just the flow of events can get repetitive and a bit bland. I don't think making the campaign shorter would really fix this problem, as it does sort of need to be a certain length to fit with how the game goes. But it really could have benefited from something a bit extra. A big event before the ending seemed to be a bit rushed also. I was a little disappointed by how it went actually. Many bits throughout the game really hyped me up for it, but it didn't seem to fulfill that hype. Nonetheless, the pros definitely outweigh the cons. I think this is a great game and my new favorite Supergiant game. Sorry, Transistor. The music and art is fantastic as usual, the story is intriguing and catches you off guard, the characters are lovable, though some a bit more lovable than others. Will you love it? That's up to you, but it's definitely a gem that's worth checking out and that I hope game developers draw inspiration from.
All are not the same, but three shall